Hello and welcome to a re-recording of SQL's mapping webinar focusing on the basics of Queensland Globe. Queensland Globe is an online service best suited for simple planning/mapping of property infrastructure boundaries, as well as doing up quite simple maps for contractors, workers and any visitors. This is part of our GrazingFutures project with the Queensland Government, which aims to improve drought preparedness and resilience for Queensland producers. Before we start, I would just like to quickly pay respects to the traditional owners of both Queensland and Australia as a whole. So Queensland Globe works best with the Google Chrome browser. And up in the top right here, you've got the sign-in option, and it gives you a variety of things you can sign in with. I would suggest you make a Gmail account, which is also a Google account, solely for Queensland Globe, so you can just have that one email to always log in, and it's, you can write it down, not have to worry about it being stolen or something. So I'll just quickly sign in with my account. So the reason you'd need to sign in with something is signing in allows you to save a map, so you can come back, add stuff to it, edit it and stuff like that. There is a way to save a map to your computer, but that is different, and I'll get to that later. So once it loads, just give it a second. So I'm not sure what the total number of maps that you can have saved into an account. As you can see, I've got 81 here, so it's still running fine for me, so it can be quite a few. All right, now that it's loaded, what I'll do is I'll zoom into Charleville, because around here is what I want to do is to show off some of the tools of Queensland Globe. And if you zoom in, it'll have to load less, so it'll load quicker and it won't use up as much of your internet. So if I just zoom in a bit more, there we go, that's good. So first off, let's show off the layers that you're most likely to use. So let's go to the layers menu, up here into add layers, and then down location, property names. So as you can see, it's popped in with these boundaries and names. So the names aren't always correct. In certain areas, they can be pretty close, but other ones it's real hit or miss. And these boundaries that it puts around them, that's basically the boundaries of the lot and plan. So what we'll do next is we'll turn on all the lot and plan stuff. So you go just under location is planning strata. So drop down, land parcels. Be careful you don't click that, because otherwise click like the tab itself, because it'll turn on all the layers, and that can cause your computer to run really slow as it tries to open all of those layers. So we'll just turn on land parcel label, land parcel, and road parcel. So what I've just done there is the land parcel label is this number here, your lot and plan number. Land parcel itself, I see how there's now a yellow boundary around all of what was the property boundaries. That's what that is. And road parcel, what it does is it highlights the road commons and stock routes. So as you can see, it's chugging along a bit trying to load all the layers. So what we'll do is we'll just turn off road parcel so it has less to load. And now if I hit this back arrow, you'll see all those layers are now here in the layers menu. What I would suggest that, since you can't set Queensland Globe to always open with certain layers, you save a blank map with the layers that you would regularly be using in this menu. So hold on, just quickly, I didn't do this right. So I'll just turn road parcels back on. But if I click this back arrow, you'll see road parcels is now in this menu, but from this menu, I can just turn it off. So as I was just saying, these are the layers that you're most likely going to be using fairly regularly if you're just marking out like property infrastructure and boundaries. So what you'll do is go to maps, save as, and as you can see, I've already had some practice here. So let's just call this map layers. Okay, if we just give it a second. There you go. So that is basically just a blank map, but it'll open with these layers turned on, and that should be a very good just base map to use for any kind of editing, or if you want to do a new map of your property, just open that up and start drawing. All right, so next what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about the search function. So over here in the search menu, you've got quite a few things to choose from. The easiest and quickest is just to use the, I'll just move this down a bit, lot and plan. So from lot and plan, you can just type in the lot and plan of any property or your property. So we'll just do this, 3SP24890. It's, I've misspelled that. Why have I misspelled that? There's a 3 there. So 3, search. Still wrong. So there you go, see there. So if I click that, what it'll do is it'll snap out and zoom to showing the entire lot and plan. And if I click this little add to places, it's now in places menu. And I can, do little edits to it. So I don't want it to have that white filling, and I want the boundaries of it black. So you can also add here, just if you tick add label to map, it'll add the label for that lot and plan there. But unfortunately, it scrolls with the zoom, and there's no way to really lock it in place and say, I only want it to be that size. So, oh well, there is a size slider there, but that won't stop it from growing when you zoom out. So I'll just tick that off so it's not in the way. And also it's got this attributes menu here. When you start actually drawing stuff to the map, they get saved as places. They'll actually have like numbers, like the area, perimeter, whatever, in the attributes menu. But for these lot and plan added shapes, it doesn't. So So in the top right here, you have your edit tools. So the ones you'll most likely be using are measurement and draw places. So I'll just go into measurement. So measurement gives you two options. There's measure line and measure area. I'll just show off measure area because they're both very similar. But same with measure line, you get the choice of units. So let's say I just want it in hectares, and I'm just going to measure this map. So after you've done that, just click on the map like I've done there. You'll add a point. Let's add another point there, double click, and now it's done. So as you can see there, it's got the area there, and then just over here, disappeared, but just before it had the perimeter. So even when the shape is drawn like that, you can swap it to acres and it'll update. Once you've drawn a shape, you can mildly edit it. So if you hold your mouse over the points, you can click and drag and move them, but you can't add extra points along the line. Now, unfortunately, you can't just start doing a new thing. So if I wanted to do a perimeter or like a fence line after that, see, as I clicked on measure line, it disappeared, and now I've got just the measure line tool. So yeah, if you want to have something more permanent, then you have to go to draw places. So first off, with draw places, you have draw point, which is very useful for marking points of interest or like water tanks, troughs, stuff like that, gateways. So basically you just zoom in to a point on the map and click there, and then you'll see here it's appeared in the places. So I'll just change that to office and shed. Style, I don't know, since it's not like a tank or something, I'll give it a cross. For its fill, I don't know, I want it to be yellow and I want the outside to be blue. Oh well, cross doesn't really have that, but I'll go to circle. So see, you can customize it, and much like the label, it'll grow as you zoom out, so it's always visible. You can do the add label to it, and attributes here, it's got your latitude and longitude of that point. So the next one is draw line. So draw line is works very similar to the measure area tool and the measure line tool. So let's say there's a track here I want to grade. So I'll just mark that out quickly. So just click to add in basically like a point, and then you draw the next one. You'll see here it's got segment, length, and then the bearing. So that's bearing is the angle that you're coming off the previous point at, and length is the total length. Segment is whatever bit that you're currently like drawing from the point. So I'll just double click that there, and as you can see, it's done. So I'll call this road to be graded. Sorry if that's misspelled. And I know, make this purple. I'll make it purple or pink. So attributes here, it's got the length. There's no way to set what its default thing for measuring length is. So it's defaulted to meters and kilometers, but there's no, as far as I know, in the settings, there isn't something where you can change it so it always shows length in miles or something. So we'll go back to draw places, draw polygon. Now this one, again, works very much like the measure area. So I'll just mark out this front paddock again. Very quickly, double click to finish. And like the lot and plan, it's got this shading inside of it. So I'll just go in there, get rid of that shading, and I'll make the outside of it blue. And the attributes here, it's got your perimeter and area in hectares. Unfortunately, again, in settings, there's no way, as far as I know, there's no way you can set that to be measuring in acres. So yeah, but very much like, just call this front paddock. So yeah, so all the draw tools, a lot of their like editing and options work very similar. So what I'll do here is show off the last one, draw circle. So with draw circle, the way it works is click at the center of the circle, then drag it out, and then you'll see in the bottom left-hand screen of the map there, you'll see radius, perimeter, and area. So that helps you figure out just how big the circle's getting. So I'll just draw a quick 100-meter radius circle there. Not quite, but close enough. And so this tool would be very helpful if you're trying to work out buffer zones around like dams and water troughs, or areas that are at risk of like weed infestation. So if you know there's like weeds and a cropping of trees, but you also know this weed only really spreads like 100 meters around from any plant, you can just mark that out in the map, and you know where to keep an eye out, or like where to keep what areas to regularly check out. So again, attributes menu looks very similar, except this one talks about radius, and it's also got the latitude and longitude of the center point. So I'll just call that down. I'll just close this menu. So with editing these shapes, what you do is you come up here to, well, just quickly, now that I've drawn all these shapes, and I'm about to do some editing on the stuff I've drawn, what you'll have to do is to make sure you don't have any plot and plan things on. So like this layer here. So because if I go to edit places and then I just decide to swing the mouse over, you'll see it's automatically picking up that big lot and plan. I don't want it to do that. So what you do is you just go turn that layer off. So it's still there, it's just off. But if I go edit places, you'll see it's not picking it up. So with edit places, you can only edit one shape at a time. And there's two ways of selecting one. So you can either do edit places, come over, click on the shape, and then it'll change so you can edit it. Or you just click on it and it'll automatically select it. So with the point, all you can really do is just click and drag it around. But and with the circle, you've only got this one point here, and all you can really do is grow it. You can't, well, grow it and technically flip it the other way around, but doesn't really mean much. And yeah, so you can't add in extra points to move it around with. There's just that one point. Now, with Polygon, it gets a bit more interesting because with here, you can add in extra points along the line from which you can like control and move it. So let's say I wanted to edit it, so I'm not measuring this wetland. Just click and drag on those points, very similar to the way we manipulate that measurement tool. So I'll just, oh, wrong way. And now you'll see it's doing this thing here where I try and click and drag, it's not letting me. I don't know why it'll sometimes start doing that. It can be very much a hassle. The only way I know of getting it to stop doing that is after you've done some edits, you come up here and click done. That'll save your edits and then go back into edit places and then get back to editing. I don't know why it does that. I don't